I'm just building this whole thing to be a more peaceful place for myself and others. I did have to downsize my clothes when I went tiny to make them all fit. And this is my cat loft. Since I am making this entire property into a food forest, I wanted to expand my gardens and grow a lot of my food. Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome to my tiny home. Let's take a tour. This is my kitchen. I wanted to put the kitchen on both sides so that I had plenty of room to cook. I needed plenty of counter space, but if I didn't want some of the counter space, I did add a flip-up counter that I can put down. I wanted the farmhouse sink as opposed to the stainless steel sink. I got a 2-burner electric cooktop that I could place on the counter. I could also put it away if I need the space. I did ventilate it and put a hood over it. I got a convection oven instead of a microwave. I also got a regular size refrigerator and definitely plenty of pantry storage. My cabinets are soft open and close, so when you open them and you close them, you're not going to hear any type of loud noise or anything. It just soft closes. I personally used to be a hoarder, so I needed a lot of storage. I also wanted closed storage instead of open shelf storage. So I wanted to make sure that I had tons of cabinets, tons of places, hidden places, so that the stuff was not seen, out of sight, out of mind. And I did do a lot of storage in the kitchen for that reason. And this is my little dining area. It actually used to be a little living room, but when I added the living room, I was able to make this into a little dining area. And I chose to get a table that folds out into 4, and all of these chairs do come out, and I'm able to have a better meal than sitting on the couch bed storage and using this flip down counter as my table. This is my living room. This is part of a 3-phase project with my tiny house. The first phase was, it used to be my business office. Since I have the mobile home now, I moved my office out of here. So now I finally have a living room in my tiny house. And the third phase is actually for when I get older. I'm going to be turning this living room into my bedroom. So I'll be moving all of the stuff upstairs into this living room. Right now, this is a couch and it comes out into a futon. I do have a Mitsubishi mini split. Currently, it does not work, so I replaced it with a window unit, which is actually just as good. It supplies air and heat. So I will get the mini split fixed eventually, but until then, this is amazing. I've been living tiny for about 6 years now, and my whole goal in the beginning was to live more affordably and live with less stuff. I wanted to be outside more, and that's when this all started. My house was built by Incredible Tiny Homes. It was $58,300, and I have lived in several different places, including a campground. It was legal there, so I didn't have to get any type of permits or registration. They allowed RVs, but then they also allowed tiny homes. And the last place that I lived was a friend's homestead. They had a house on there, so they were allowed to have tiny houses parked there for the time being. And when I was in that spot, I decided to look for my land. And that's when I found land in Tennessee, purchased my land, and I have been here for 2.5 years. This is my bathroom. I decided on a regular walk-in stand-up shower. I don't take baths, so I just wanted something that was going to be easy and compact. I also like the fact that this it's not tile. I didn't like cleaning tile in apartments, so I opted for the smooth walls so it was easier to clean. I used to have a compost toilet when I first got the tiny house. I used to have it for about 5 years, but then I switched it out for a regular flush toilet. This is my storage staircase because I needed more storage. I added storage in all of these stairs. Most of them open up. I do have pantry storage as well as a place for a litter box for my cats that is vented out. There's a little computer fan in there which ventilates dust and odors. They also have a little swinging door that they can go in and out of. So I did opt for handles on the wall instead of a handrail. I wanted to keep this whole space open, and eventually I will be adding a rustic handrail to make it look like the rest of the house. And this is my bedroom. I designed it as a 10-foot by 8-foot bedroom. I also opted for the ceilings that were where I can sit on the bed as opposed to the A-frame. This bed used to be on the floor, but people told me you might want to get that up off the floor. So I did buy a platform for underneath it. So now it has under the bed storage. I do have 2 egress windows right here just in case someone needs to escape out of it in a case of an emergency. I also have an emergency ladder underneath here that's 13 feet tall, which is the size of the tiny house, where I could escape out the window in case something happens. I did put a big size dresser up here just so I could fit most of my clothes, but it is plenty of storage in all of these. I did have to downsize my clothes when I went tiny to make them all fit. And this is my cat loft. Since I have 4 cats, I needed a space for them to live and sleep, and I do put litter boxes up here. They also use this catwalk to get from my bedroom to their loft. I did also add these windows. They're called hopper windows, and I did put those in there for the cats. They do fold halfway down, and the cats could either sit on top of them and look out the windows or look underneath them. One thing that I would give advice on for going tiny would be to do a lot of planning and research. The planning and research that I did still wasn't enough for when I got here. There were things that I didn't take into consideration, but the fact that I took a whole year to plan my journey out was very beneficial and helpful, because then I knew what I was going to get into. I knew some of the problems that I was going to have to get over because I had researched what to do about those things. This is some outside storage. I do have my hot water heater in here. I used to have a system that collected rainwater, but I no longer have that, and I turned it into storage. And this is the outside storage. This is the storage that is on the inside of the house. If we open this, it goes all the way through, and it was made for tents, tables, and long tools. So like the tools that I use for gardening, I needed a space that was long enough, so I did design it on the outside of the house so that I could have access to more storage, of course. And this is my chicken coop. I do have 21 chickens. This is a lean-to that's off my workshop garage, and when I first moved here to this property, I didn't have a chicken coop, so I decided to close in this lean-to in order to have them have a space to live. They also have their outdoor pen, and I also built a sick pen for them so that I could raise the chicks inside there so that they could have space in between the adult hens before they were introduced to them. As well as if one of them is sick, you want to separate it from the others so that it doesn't get the others sick. And I can't wait till they start laying, because it's just, I do gift the farm fresh eggs to family and friends, and I sell them to the town. So I had started running out of eggs and decided to get the 9 more chicks, and they're almost fully grown now, so they're gonna start laying soon. I'm so excited. This is my garden section. Since I am making this entire property into a food forest, I wanted to expand my gardens and grow a lot of my food. Eventually, I'm going to be selling the food, so I just wanted a huge source of food on my property, spend less, make some money off of it. I actually got some scrap lumber from some friends of mine that they gave me for free. That's where I made some raised garden beds. The first year I was here, I had in-ground gardens and they didn't work out for me so much. So that's why I expanded this year and was able to do all of that. And I love the gardens so much better now. There's a lot more produce growing. They're a lot healthier, and I'm just excited for all of the produce to come up. I'm just building this whole thing to be a more peaceful place for myself and others to walk around. Eventually, it's going to be a food forest, so everything that I grow is going to be edible, medicinal, or educational. So in the future, when people come to visit here, there's going to be a lot of takeaways from having the homestead and building it into a community. I don't know how long it's going to take, but each year, each week, each month that I do stuff, I'm manifesting my community. And so far, a lot has been done in the 2.5 years that I have been here. And I just can't wait to see the whole thing come to fruition. Thank you so much for watching my tiny home tour. You can find me on all of my social medias in the links in the description below.